Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this curator conversation. I am Jodie Nelson, and I am curating a show called Beyond an Inconvenient Truth with the platform Earth Creative. Today, we are talking with one of the participants. Her name is Meg Holgate. She is an artist that lives and works in the Skagit Valley, which is about an hour and a half north of Seattle. I'm so pleased to have her. As you listen to us talk, you will see that she and I have known each other for a number of years and can go on and on. So as we get started right away, I have sent her a few questions, and one of them is about her painting that I saw this weekend. She has been part of and helped curate a show called A Precarious Edge. She also had an extra idea to continue the life of A Precarious Edge and showcase some 5 artists from the area that also talk about climate change in their work. But as we get started and talk to Meg, you guys, the painting that I saw this weekend blew my mind. It was blue like you had never seen before, like this Prussian blue, and had a surface area of the moon that was so tactile. It was gorgeous. The whole thing gave me a sensation that I'm going to talk to her about today and have you come along with us. So Meg, what were you thinking when you made the painting? I know you have, started your vernacular talking about space pollution. Were you thinking about that when you were creating the work, or tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, Jodie, lovely to be with you again. And of course, we've walked a precarious edge together before, so yes. Here we are. In the first iteration of Precarious Edge, we were very involved with the theme of outer space and the beauty of outer space. And then there was a little bit of a darker foreshadowing of human error in space. We're leaving a lot of garbage. We're talking about privacy issues.
Yeah.
It used to be a relatively untouched place. And now we find ourselves going up there for the many reasons that support technology and in excellent ways. But at the time that I was considering the first iteration of Precarious Edge, I was concerned with the amount of garbage that we were leaving up there. So the moon, to me, well, that actually began in that particular theme, and I really didn't finish it till this Precarious Edge. However, the moon to me is a place I've looked at forever as a child. I think universally we can all agree that we can look up at the moon and it fills us with wonder and delight. It has been a navigational tool forever. But as I look at it now, there's a more ominous feel in space. And so it also represents something looking back at us. Beware, I see you. And so now as I move into more climate change conversations and I unpack the world as it is today, this period of time when climate change is at the forefront of many conversations, I think about the moon looking back at us.
So poetic. Are you kidding me? So to go off script a little bit, what are you more addressing in the work that you have in our experience beyond an inconvenient truth? You've got your crystal and iceberg forms. What were you thinking about with those?
You know, the crystal iceberg forms came right out of my studio. I collect a lot of crystals and rocks. So it is a beautiful organic form to work with. It is something the earth has made. And so when I was moving into the Iceberg series, I took a cue from some of the forms that were just sitting here in my studio. And then the particular painting that perhaps you're referencing, well, you're referencing, of course, the crystal rock, but then also the last iceberg. It was a form. It began as a form in the painting. And then by the time I finished the painting, the iceberg had disappeared. And so it became the last iceberg. But it did begin with a crystal form.
And scientifically, they create and grow in the same, I want to say paradigm, but they grow in the same crystalline formations, isn't that?
There's a structure there. There's a
Structure.
natural structure. And so crystals have one structure. The formation of ice in our cryosphere has another structure. They're all so beautiful. What I have still in my studio are the crystals. The cryosphere is in fact disappearing. So I needed a form. I needed a form to actually address what was disappearing, and the crystals still remain.
Wow, I have to take notes on that. So I'm hearing that you need things in your studio, your talismans, your forms, your pivot points, your ideas, the things that are coming from. Did you have something in your studio at the time when you started using your talents with the message of climate change? Did you have an experience in your life? Was it a gradual thing that just happened? How'd your journey?
I think it was gradual. I've always been drawn to landscape, the beauty of landscape. It's what I paint. It is where I find truth, depth, fleeting, a certain magic. And so I think my journey began back in 2008. We have a home up on Quadra Island in British Columbia, and I had the opportunity to hear David Suzuki speak. It was a small gathering of people. We were in a restaurant, and he was telling us that the research was coming back, that there were tons of these microplastics in the fish just as a result of all the pollution. So I recall looking out at what appeared to be the most exquisite, beautiful bay. And then at the very same time, listening to David Suzuki speak to this, and then something in me just went, oh my gosh, I could not unsee this.
Yeah.
And I think I gradually began to inform myself over the next few years about the changes that were developing. And I felt like it was an imperative to, as an artist, as somebody who cares deeply, to begin to address that in my work. So it was a subtle move in that direction, but it was a bump where suddenly you get a piece of truth and there's a realization.
Yes, when the truth mirrors back at you, when you see that reflection sometimes, yeah, just like you said, you cannot unsee it. Wow. That's a lot. You know, your landscapes are so pretty, and you do recently have a quote in the press, and I'm not going to get it exactly, but you say, you know, you are painting beauty because that's what we are on the edge of losing.
I think for me, beauty is such, we all connect to beauty, however we define it, however we look at it. We may hear it through a beautiful piece of music, somebody's poetry, perhaps we've seen a dance or a piece of photography, something that reflects back to us the wonder of being human.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we disconnect from nature, I think we lose a connection with ourselves, and there's a disconnection from beauty. And I want to hold on to that in my work. Even if there's a foreshadowing, a foretelling, beauty has a little melancholy in it. It's fleeting. You know, there are moments when you see it, you might want to go grab your camera and the shadow on the water is gone.
Yes.
That moment's inside of you. You may wanted to have captured it, but perhaps you couldn't. And so I like to capture if I can.
That is the connection. That, you know, it's that sensation of connecting with that flower bloom that's just about to flourish. It is that connection. It is. And it's undeniable. I mean, look at Instagram. It's full of, you know, flowers and pictures, and even people's food, which comes directly from our earth too.
And these are all moments of delight, whether the food's just presented and you would go, oh, what a beautiful plate.
Yes.
Or the sky is doing something extraordinary, or you hear something, and it is not every moment that we experience it, but when we do, we know it.
Yes, we do. I had that experience just a few days ago. I had been working and I was here at my home office and I needed a break. And I had watched the storm come in and I was like, ooh, we are in rainbow country right now. I'm feeling it. There's got to be a rainbow somewhere. And I walked outside and Meg, lo and behold, it was not just one giant rainbow. It was a double rainbow.
Yes. And I saw that Instagram post. I think you went live with it. And that was the huge connection because I'm like, Jodie's just seen some beauty.
Yes.
And it was very short. Maybe it was 20 seconds, whatever you posted. But I went, and I got to see it with you through your live post.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for being my witness on that. It was amazing. I had my own existential moment on that one again. Let me read my notes and see what else we were going to chat about today. Oh, I want everybody to know how you came about knowing Earth Creative.
Well, I met, let's see, Christoph through Kathy Fallman DeWalt, through another friend of mine. So this wonderful friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, set us up. We had lunch, and this friend of ours suspected because I was involved at that point with the precarious edge. You were already in the picture. You know, Kathy said, I am involved with Earth Creative. And we began this conversation and it was ping. And I mean, our stars were aligning.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, in that lunch, we came back here to the studio. There was further conversation. She said, you must meet Christoph. You must see what he's doing. He's got this extraordinary composition, Terra Nostra. We met Christoph over Zoom. And I think that's history because, frankly, it all took off very quickly from those moments.
Very quickly. Yeah.
And I think sometimes those are the best moments in life where everything you believe in, you find other people who are saying something so similar, and you know you have to get together and march to that drum.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sharing that mission of inspiring others through the power of art.
Absolutely.
Climate justice. Absolutely. And what I find really most inspiring is that it is about the messaging, you know, and being able to take that educational aspect and share that just as much as you're sharing your art. That is huge. I mean, when I saw you this weekend, I was with my friend Carrie Ann, who I've known since college. We swam together and she went to the show. She's bringing back images of the show to share with her second grade class. She has part of her curriculum, See and Wonder. And she was like, oh, yes, I can't wait. And she already had, you know, a few of the kids in her class who she was like, oh, my gosh, what are they going to think about this? They're going to love this. You know, there's such a beautiful thing happening now that they are talking about climate science in the educational school system, particularly the one that she's in. I know that not all states have it here in America, but we're getting there. We're certainly getting there.
And that is such good news because, Jodie, I think right now we're at a hinge moment, and I see teachers and students, and they're stepping up and they're meeting this moment. And that's what really fills me up, because we are going to need everybody to focus on climate change. And so if there is an enthusiasm and a desire and a drive to know that teachers and students play such an essential role in this, I think it lends to the whole idea of hope and the optimism that we can, in fact, re-engineer our thinking around this.
Absolutely. I am in total agreement, and I'll continue to share that with her too. I know she would love hearing that. When it comes to Earth Creative and our experience beyond an inconvenient truth, did you have anything that you wanted to talk about or add about this experience coming up? You know, it is, by the time we are recording this, we have not installed the experience yet. So it's not as though you can speak to what's already there, but is there an artist that you're particularly interested in seeing their work that maybe you hadn't seen?
I think because we have multiple artists now from around the world,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the artists that are not around me. So that's going to be lovely. And to see some of their work, whether it's coming in via video. I know you have multiple artists. And so in the show that we have now at Shack, we know who's around us, but I get to come to Bait, Beyond an Inconvenient Truth, and see what's going on just outside of my immediate surroundings. And by extension, I think that is the grand plan for Earth Creative, to keep moving us out, to keep connecting with each other, to see how each of us are translating this very difficult but hopeful subject. And so there isn't any one particular artist. I'm going to enjoy the whole group as it presents itself in this first show of Bait.
Yeah, it is. It is the first of what we are hopeful for as many. And yeah, being able to work with this group that is mobilizing the message, and everybody collectively wants to share the message and to get it out there. And it's really an honor to work with all of you. And I spoke with Jodie Sperling earlier, and she's like, our voices are just so much more amplified when we're all together.
Absolutely.
Beautiful platform. It's a beautiful platform that you're a part of and that you are such a champion for. So thank you so very much. Well, all the work that you've done. As we conclude, can you tell everybody, what do you prefer? If somebody wants to reach out to you about one of your paintings or about your message, do you like them emailing you, like on your website, or what's your Instagram handle?
So Holgate Studios at gmail.com, Meg Holgate, I guess hashtag Meg Holgate, or you can go to, that's about it. Yeah, I'm kind of around. You can find me.
Okay, great.
So, yes.
Sounds great. Well, I look forward to working with you as we keep working on Bait, but I'm really looking forward to some other future projects that we do.
Absolutely, Jodie.
It's going to be great. So thank you again for being here, and I look forward to working with you in your work.
Thank you, Jodie. See you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye-bye.